Hello again, friends. We concluded last time our series within the series on the gentle path with Saint Porphyrios on the topic of spiritual struggle, and now we turn to a topic that perhaps may feel a bit more specific to some, but I think has broad application for anybody listening or watching this. It is on raising children. And whether you are a parent, whether you are a child, whether you are an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent, a teacher, a godparent, or even just have a relationship with a younger person in a mentoring capacity, I think these words are for you. All things are achieved through prayer, silence, and love. Have you understood the effects of prayer? Love in prayer, love in Christ. That is what is truly beneficial. As long as you love your children with human love, which is often pathological, the more they will be mixed up and the more their behavior will be negative. But when the love between you and towards your children is holy and Christian love, then you will have no problem. The sanctity of the parents saves the children. For this to come about, divine grace must act on the souls of the parents. No one can be sanctified on his own. The same divine grace will then illuminate, warm, and animate the souls of the children. This passage is perhaps a good reason to throw out all of your parenting self-help books. I say that as a parent, and I'm saying it tongue-in-cheek and joking, of course, but something about this passage, all things are achieved through prayer, silence, and love. All things. Are you mad at your children? Are you frustrated with your children? Are they not listening to you? The goal is not to control their behavior. It's not to force them to listen. Of course, we get caught in these cycles of, well, the house is a mess. I need them to help me with this messy house. I feel anxious and in tumult and in turmoil myself, and so I need to just get them to do what I tell them to do. And also, if I don't get them to do what I tell them to do, then I'm a horrible parent because they're spoiled kids. We get in these cycles, and these are human cycles. These are psychological cycles. These are cycles of behavior control, or not being able to control behavior. But what St. Porphyrios is saying here is that none of those things ultimately matter for our children's soul. None of these ultimately matter for our own souls. What matters is that I try to pray, I try to keep silence, and I try to love. And if I just love my children with human love, it says, which is often pathological, then they're going to be mixed up and they're not going to behave well. Now, what does this mean? This means that often the human love that I have for my children can often be a projection of my own desire to be comforted. I see a beautiful, cute little baby and I want to comfort myself with this beautiful baby. It's baby therapy, and that's okay. There's nothing inherently wrong with that, but that is not necessarily beneficial for the salvation of this little eternal soul. But when I invoke grace in my own life, when I invoke peace and joy, the joy of Christ in my own life, and when I experience this grace, then that same divine grace, St. Porphyrios says, will then illuminate, warm, and animate the souls of my children. Now, practically speaking, how does this work? Well, I think it's important as parents that we have a little time, even 5 minutes, away from our children at the beginning of the day, thinking about the day, having a little be still time, and praying for Christ's illumination and grace to be with us. And then we use that grace, that seed of grace, to motivate us through the day to be as prayerful, as silent, and as loving as we can. And when we mess up, we don't wallow in that and feel super guilty about it. We just turn right back to grace, to peace, and say, I'm beginning again. Lord, help me, and just move forward. And as parents, as mentors of children, what will influence them, what will help them, what will transform them is not our words, is not our yelling, is not our desire to control them or to manipulate their behavior in some way to get them to behave one way or another, but rather to mystically infuse the grace and the love of God into them that we ourselves are experiencing. This basically means that we have to become holy, that we have to become saints, and that we do this one tiny step at a time, one day at a time. And even if we're messing up in all other ways, if we're conveying that grace to our children, then we will have done what God has asked us to do as parents. May God bless you and give you strength in the most holy and most difficult vocation of raising children.